Do you like what we do here? I would assume so if you're listening to this. We have had a good year for growth this year. We've had substantial growth on all the podcast feeds with new subscribers. We have the new YouTube channel with a bunch of new subscribers there too. But we want to carry this over into 2026 so we can continue to provide high-quality entertainment, high-quality news, high-quality reviews, and all that kind of stuff. So what we're asking for going into next year is, if you have the ability, we're not asking for a lot, you can donate. Go to ko-fi.com/MWP News and make a donation. Everything you do goes towards making sure we can do things. That way I can take days off work to go and cover things early, or, things of that nature. Go to events and talk about them early, see advanced screenings. All that stuff goes into that budget. On top of that, if you can't afford that, and I realize right now things are tough and things are rough out there. If you can't afford that, the easiest thing you can do is subscribe and rate. No matter what you use to get this podcast, you can subscribe. Just hit the follow button, hit subscribe, whatever the button is on your thing, and then rate us. Give us 5 stars. That'll help more people find us, and the more people find us, the more we can, the more we'll be able to do, and we'll be able to get more happening. You can also go to mwpnews.com and sign up for our newsletter. There we will have articles and stuff like that about what we cover on this show. And we will also be doing more gaming content on the YouTube channel. If we can get, with more subscribers on there, we can do more. And that's youtube.com/@MWPnews. And again, thank you for a great year for us. Next year will be better. One of the big issues that I had this year that preempted me from doing a lot of what I wanted to has been resolved with the issue with my car, and that issue has been resolved. So going into this next year, we should be a lot more smooth sailing, but we do need your help to get more people listening and get what we're doing here out there. So just subscribe, tell your friends, and if you have the ability to, and you have the money, and you want to, and you think we're doing a good job, and we've earned that, go to ko-fi.com/MWP News and throw us whatever you think we deserve. And thank you, and enjoy this episode. Good morning and welcome to 30-Minute Reviews. I am Adam. A little late this week. We're still trying to get into a good flow of things with the new YouTube material. But how's everyone doing? It's been a little bit. And like I said, we're going to go back to doing more movie reviews and not just talk about news. We'll do news episodes as things come up. But we're going to talk about movies, too. The show's called 30-Minute Reviews. We should do an occasional review, I would think. That feels like a smart way to do this. But anywho, today we are talking about a movie that premiered at Sundance. I believe it premiered at Sundance. I know it was at Sundance last year. It is now on Max, or HBO Max. And it is Sorry Baby, it's called. It is written by, directed by, and starring Eva Victor. Also in the movie is Naomi Ackie, who some of you may recognize from I Want to Dance with Somebody. I would say probably overwhelmingly people would recognize her from The Rise of Skywalker. She played Janna, the leader of the people who lived on, the people who lived on Endor. and we didn't know who her father was, and it may or may not be Lando. I haven't read that book yet. But anywho, it's a movie about a woman who, in all of it says something bad happened to her. Something bad happened to Agnes. And it's about how she copes with this thing. And I think that, like, the phrasing around the thing that happened is kind of the interesting part of this. Like, not, like, because what happens to her is she's a grad student who is going to, who's working on her thesis, and her advisor ends up raping her. And it's about her coping with that, coming to terms with that, and dealing with everything that goes along with that. And I think the interesting part of this movie is that it doesn't deal with the legal aspect of it, because if you want to see the legal aspect of that, there are, like, no shortage of, like, episodes of Law and Order SVU and other things like that, where that will scratch that itch. This is a look at someone processing their trauma, someone who has undergone something traumatic and is trying to work through it and lead their normal life while dealing with this tremendous thing that happened to them. And the thing that works about it is, like, we never see what happened. It's just we see her go into his house, and time passes on the outside. It just kind of slowly turns to nighttime, and then she leaves, and then we see her telling her friend about it after. And it's just like that. It's a very smart way of handling it. And then we see her go to the doctor to get the the forensic kit done. And it's very well handled from that regard. And it's just this thing where it's like for people who don't understand what the lasting impact is of something like this happening, which we see a lot of in, like, the Republican Party trying to explain away what, bad behavior from members of their caucus. That's what this movie's about. It's about the enduring pain and the enduring emotional scarring that comes from this kind of an attack. And her performance in this movie is very good in that regard. It's like there's a scene where she goes to jury duty, and one of the questions is, have you been the victim of a crime? And she kind of, like, half raises her hand and then doesn't. And that whole sequence with her and the attorney going back and forth, it's like, I've never said this out loud before. And then it's like, would you want him to go to jail? And it's like, no, because he wouldn't. Then he's a guy who does this and is in jail, and it's just like that kind of thing. It's so, like, her performance in these moments is just so strong. And then it's like there's the moment later on where she's talking to the guy who runs the sandwich shop. And it's the emotional vulnerability that she allows in these moments that handles it. And I think it all comes to the head when she's having the conversation with when she's having the conversation at the end of the movie with her friend's child. And it's not a conversation because she's talking to this baby. And I think this thing where it's like, yeah, things are going to suck, but I'll be there for you. If, things are going to be terrible, bad things are going to happen, and I'm sorry for that, but I'll be there for you, and I hope nothing bad happens to you, but if it's something where something does, you can talk to me anytime. And it's just this great moment of, like, support that she has in the end, and it's like she's not you know, for lack of it, like she's not completely moved past what happened, but it's kind of like moving through to not acceptance, but like, because that's the wrong word, that's more processing grief, but like she's moved into a you know, a different headspace in that moment. I like the movie. I think that it's very well made, and Eva Victor is someone I'm going to keep an eye out for in the future, in the same way that, like, I haven't selected the Sundance movies yet, but I'm fairly certain that one that was directed by the person who did Sometimes I Think About Dying, that one is going, Rachel Lambert, that one's almost certainly going to be on the list. But yeah, this is one we'll be keeping an eye out for her in the future. Because I think she did excellent work in this movie, and not just in the performance or in the direction, but like the way the script works is very smart too. Breaking it up into multiple parts, you know, starting in the present and then back tracing through the entire story, and then coming back to that is smart. Segmenting it out by year is a very smart choice. It gives you more time to set aside these various moments in her life and where her headspace is at each moment, without confusing the viewer as to where you are in the process. All of that's very, you know, methodical, and it does a very good job of keeping the viewer sorted as to where we are with this character, and that's all very important. And yeah, I think that's really all I got on this. I mean, it's another one of these movies where it's like it's so well done, and it's one of the things where it's like I don't understand why they didn't try for a like. I get that it's a fairly stacked year. I get that we're looking at, like, you know, what's it called? We're looking at, like, you know, Marty Supreme is going to be taking home a lot of hardware, probably. One Battle After Another, Hamnet. It's going to be a rough year to try and get her through. But, like, she might have been able to pull an acting nomination in this movie. And again, it's like, I think that I've said it before on this show, and definitely on Beware of Spoilers, we don't need a casting Oscar. What we need is a we need is a breakout performer. I mean, and some performance, but we need breakout performer. Or like first time actor, first time, like, best debut performance. Like, that's what we really need. And I don't know if this is her debut. I've never seen her in anything before. That doesn't necessarily mean that she's never been in anything before. It just means that I haven't seen her in anything. But yeah, we'll wrap up there for today. We'll be back next week with another movie. I haven't selected which one yet, but we'll be back with that next week. And until then, have a great rest of your